Welcome to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection since 1991. I'm Linda Karnauskas, and I want to thank you for joining us on this Wednesday, August 24th. We have an informative show for you today. First, we'll be visiting with Bradley Rademacher from the City of Owatonna. He's our water quality specialist and our stormwater specialist. So we're looking forward to speaking with him. And then we'll be visiting with two of our returning Rotary Exchange students, Jackie Warehime and Margaret Sager. Owatonna Today welcomes your comments and suggestions on our programs. You can let us know about those suggestions you may have by emailing us at owatonnatoday@charter.net or by contacting our show's producer, Leanne T at 390-5751. We will take a short break to hear a word from our sponsors, and then we'll be right back with Bradley Rademacher, so please stay with us.
Hi, I'm Jody Voisin with the staff at Fairview Animal Medical Center, your other family doctor. Fairview Animal Medical Center is a proud supporter of the Owatonna Today Show.
Recreational fires are allowed within the Owatonna city limits. They must be contained within a fire pit or a device designed for such use, and can be 3 feet in diameter and no more than 3 feet high. They must be 25 feet from a building or combustibles. Only untreated or unpainted woods must be used. Fires must be attended by a person at all times that are capable of extinguishing the fire. This has been a safety tip from the Owatonna Fire Department.
Hi, I'm Betsy Linger from the Owatonna Foundation. Your generosity has made Owatonna a better place to live by benefiting our community, the arts, recreation, and education. Please consider a donation today. The Owatonna Foundation is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection. Well, we want to welcome you with Bradley Rademacher today. How are you doing, Bradley?
Good. Thank you for inviting me.
Now, you are our stormwater specialist and our water quality specialist here for the City of Owatonna. So why don't you introduce yourself and tell a little bit about yourself to our viewers and what you do.
Sure. Well, I graduated from St. Cloud State with a degree in environmental science, and I also grew up on a family-owned orchard, which is kind of what got me interested in environment in the first place. While I was at St. Cloud State, I completed an internship with the city with their stormwater department, and that's what kind of helped me specialize in stormwater. I've been with the City of Owatonna since 2014. I've got kind of a wide variety of job duties with the engineering department, primarily focused on stormwater. And my primary focus really is dealing with the state permit that we have, the city has with the state. It's called the MS4 permit. It's part of the National Pollutant Discharge Elimination System, and it is a federally issued permit to the state. The state issues it to us. There's what's called minimum control measures, and there's six different categories of minimum control measures. The first being public participation and involvement. The second being public education and outreach. The third being illicit discharge detection and elimination. Fourth being construction site inspections. Fifth being post-construction stormwater management. So what are we doing with the water afterwards? And then the last minimum control measure is public good housekeeping.
A question I have in that explanation is,
Sure.
Usually when we go to fix something, we need to get a permit from the city.
Yep.
But the state gives you a permit. Could you explain that?
Yep, so we develop what's called a SWIP, and it's a Stormwater Pollution Prevention Plan. And detailed in that SWIP, we break down of those 6 minimum control measures how we as a community are going to handle those items. And basically, without that permit, we wouldn't be allowed to discharge our stormwater from our land into the public water. So basically, it's a permit that allows us to continue to use public water as a place to discharge our stormwater.
And so you're responsible for the quality of that water going into the permitted area.
Yep.
And so take us through water quality, what you do in a day to promote, to make sure that that's carried out properly.
So for instance, one of the things I do is I inspect all of our outfalls that we have here in town, 20% every year. The permit cycle is a 5-year permit cycle. So I'm just looking for indicators of pollutants that might be coming out of our stormwater system, and then the next step, if I were to identify an indicator, to figure out where it's coming from.
And do you inspect construction sites as well?
Yep.
And why is that?
Construction sites have been identified by the federal government as a pretty large source of pollutants. And so there's two components to that. The first is during construction, we require that you install best management practices on the site to basically minimize the erosion of sediment and other pollutants off of the construction site. So you might be driving by a site here in town and you see they have a silt fence, it's a black fence that they put around the perimeter of the construction site, and what that's designed to do is to keep anything from running off the site.
Now, those duties are every day. You go around, check. You know, you all have how you disperse your work.
Yep.
Tell us, how did rain gardens come on the scene?
Sure. So rain gardens is kind of not new anymore, but it's still a newer approach to handling stormwater. So our thought process in the past was to get the water away from us as fast as possible, and that usually results in piping it away. So the new approach is with infiltration practices and basically keeping the water, stormwater, so rain and snow, on site. So where it falls, we'd like to keep it there. And the reason we do that is because it, number one, it treats the pollutants, but it also recharges our groundwater.
And how is that done?
Through infiltration. So a rain garden is basically a small depression in the land. There's an engineered soil that gets put in the base of the rain garden, and then you plant it with native vegetation.
And what are some of the locations here in Owatonna for the rain garden, and why?
So we have 5 rain gardens that are publicly owned. There's 2 of them that are up in the Autumn Hills Place area on the north part of town. There's one that's down on Mosier Avenue close to the railroad tracks and the river. There's one on Rose Street. There's a public parking lot that we've installed one. And then our newest one is off Mineral Springs Parkway, down right by the park. So if you ever go down to that park, it's right across from the Horseshoe Pit, right next to Maple Creek.
And why those areas?
Those areas, basically because it was a low-lying spot, water naturally collects there. It's on parkland, so it was easy to obtain the property to install it. And then the vicinity to the nearest water body.
And what are the benefits, even if it's in a low area and that's why you want it there, but what are the benefits of having it there, and what kind of plants would you put in it?
Sure, so the benefits of having it there are it's the easiest route. It's the most logical route because water naturally collects at the low spots. Of course, we always look to see native vegetation in the rain gardens. You don't have to always do native vegetation. Common plants would be the purple blazing star, blue-eyed or black-eyed Susan. Those seem to be the 2 that people really like. There's a variety of native hedges and sedges, and I really like sedges because they're easy to maintain and they do a really good job at soaking up water. Mm-hmm.
Does the city provide a list? You would also a list to maybe homeowners or businesses that would like to do a rain garden?
Yeah, yep. We always encourage rain gardens to be installed at the residential level. It's an easy way for you to take part in kind of handling your runoff from your property and kind of doing your part in this whole process. But we do have our rain garden cost share program where we'll fund up 50% up to $500 for rain garden installation and construction. We'll help you through the design process. We'll make, it starts with a site visit for myself to kind of see what's happening with your drainage and your overland flow, and basically to take a look at it. Is it feasible for you to install a rain garden? And then we have a design package and process that helps you kind of choose how you want it to look and what plants you're going to put into it. You also receive a book on rain gardens.
And that's all free via the city?
Yep.
So they would just contact you at the city and you'd get them started?
Yep.
And you would even recommend if they need grading done or something and sand brought in or whatever?
Yep.
So you help them with would your area nurseries and things know how to advise them? Or?
Yes, they absolutely would. And, our nurseries here in town, there's quite a few of them that are knowledgeable in this stuff, and they would obviously be the ones that are supplying the plants for it. And so, yeah, they're a good resource as well.
And have you seen success with them?
We have. We've seen great success with them, actually. They're functional. At the residential level, they're easy to maintain. And like I say, it's just a great way to participate in doing your part in this whole endeavor.
What are some of the just one of the recognizable effects of having a rain garden, an improvement, so to speak?
Yeah, and just the improvement is going to be obviously the aesthetic quality of the rain garden. It provides wildlife habitat, and native vegetation is just pretty by nature.
Instead of puddles.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
Well, let's go on to the Straight River cleanup.
Sure.
That's something you're also in charge of.
Yep.
So would you want to explain all about the Straight River cleanup?
So I'm also a board director for the Cannon River Watershed Partnership, and being that I'm the water quality specialist for the city, I'm the site leader for the Owatonna site. And so this is coming up on September 17th from 9 to noon down at Morehouse Park Chalet. Is where we'll have the kickoff event, and then for the next 3 hours, volunteers will come and help clean up the basically clean up the whole watershed. So it is watershed wide, but the Owatonna site is focused on the Straight River. It's been an awesome event. We've 110,000 pounds of trash we've removed so far.
Do you do this every year?
Yep, this is the eighth year that we've done it.
And is 110,000? That's over the years.
That's total over all the locations. Yeah,
I was going to say. So, what kind of area do you clean along the river? And people come down to volunteer.
Yep, people bring canoes and kayaks, and some people bring waders, and they'll get right in the river, and they pull this. It's amazing that they continue to remove things. The issue hasn't been resolved yet, and probably maybe it will never will. We may be doing the watershed cleanups forever, but they'll go along the embankments of Maple Creek as well. We send them as far north as 26th Street, and then they come back, and we feed them. You get a free lunch, and there's a free souvenir to take, and we supply the gloves and everything like that to do the cleanup event. You'll get a T-shirt from the Cannon River Watershed Partnership. It's just a great event.
What's the most common pollutant that you find in the Straight River from 26th Street to south, wherever you start?
In terms of what we've pulled out of the river with the cleanup event?
Common, where people need a little guidance. Don't do this.
Yeah. It's a wide variety of objects: tires and couches and lots of TVs, bicycles. I mean, you name it, we've pulled it out of there.
Wow. So it's not just the little papers and things like that. You're really pulling some. And every year you pull these things out?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So if somebody would like to volunteer for that again, how would they get a hold of you? Or?
The best way to get involved in the cleanup event is to go to crwp.net and sign up directly online. We really encourage online sign up. It kind of helps us to keep track of everything.
Okay.
So
well, thank you for helping us keep our water supply safe for all to enjoy.
Absolutely.
We appreciate your hard work.
Thanks for inviting me.
We will take a short break to hear a word from our sponsors, and then we'll be right back. So please stay with us.
Hi, I'm Jean Newkirk, personal banker here at Bremer Bank. Come see me today for our current retail loan specials and any of your banking needs.
And I'm Ryan Gillespie, mortgage loan officer here at Bremer Bank in Owatonna, and I'm happy to help you with all of your home loan needs. Come see us today.
I didn't just want another job, I wanted a career, so I expressed myself.
I was new to town and I didn't know where to turn for a job, so I decided to express myself.
I decided to express myself, and they helped find the right career for me.
Express Employment Professionals is in contact with thousands of companies in need of quality employees. Come in now and get the job you deserve.
Express yourself today.
I'm Bill Owens with the Owatonna Business Incubator. Whether your business is just starting out or is expanding, we have the office space and manufacturing space that you need. As the Small Business Counseling Center for this region, we are able to help you in your expansion or your startup of your business. We are a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
Hi, I'm Tim Anderson, the owner of Anytime Fitness, where we make getting healthy affordable and convenient. Anytime Fitness is a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show.
Owatonna Public Utilities, real people, real reliable, real progress. Making life a little easier day after day, taking pride in our community, listening to what what you say, a voice you can talk to. We're growing with you in mind in everything we do. Owatonna Public Utilities.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection. And we want to welcome with us Jackie Warehime and Margaret Sager, and they are our returning Rotary Exchange students here back in Owatonna, home sweet home. And welcome to the program, ladies.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Why don't you introduce yourself first and tell a little bit about yourself here from Owatonna?
Okay, well, my name is Margaret Sager. I went to the Owatonna High School. I graduated in 2015. I was pretty involved in school. I did speech and cross country, and I spent the last year in Curitiba, Brazil, in the southern part of Brazil. And tomorrow I will be moving to Minneapolis to study at the U of M.
Okay, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I actually have a pretty similar story. My name's Jackie. I also graduated in 2015 with Margaret here, and I was also in cross country and some other activities as well, including choir and other activities, and I will also be going to the U of M. I move in next week.
Okay. Now, what interests you in doing the Rotary Exchange program, Margaret?
Really, it was learning about other people's personal experiences. There was an exchange student whose name was Kloko, and he was from South Africa. My dad was his counselor, and so we got to know him pretty well. And he ended up staying with a friend of ours who also was going on Rotary Exchange, and so, you know, we just started talking, and I was like, hey, this sounds like a good idea. Like, this is something I could do too.
And how about you?
Kind of the same thing. My mom and brother had both gone abroad after high school as well, so it was an idea that was kind of already in my head. And actually, Margaret here was the one who brought me with to the Rotary meeting. I was kind of looking at other programs, hadn't really considered Rotary, and she just said, hey, I'm going to this meeting, you should come with me. So we showed up, and it just kind of went from there.
Now, you've both been in your countries for about a year, would you say?
Mm-hmm.
And was that a huge consideration before going?
For me it was, and I was thinking about not going because a year, you know, that's a long time. I should be going to college. And then one of my English teachers sat me down and said, this is the only time you will ever not be saddled in debt and not have, I mean, this is like the least responsibility you will ever have. If there's any, you know, thought in you that would like to go to another country for a year, this is the time to do it. And yeah, she was very convincing.
And how about you, Jackie? Did you have any reservations?
Yeah, kind of on and off. I went from I have to do it, this sounds amazing, to I can't miss out on a whole year. But yeah, when it came down to it, kind of the same thing is I'm never going to have an opportunity where I can just leave for an entire year probably without any consequences, and also I'm never going to be able to travel for this cheap again.
Yeah.
So yes,
all big considerations.
Yeah. And then we found out pretty quickly that it wasn't really missing out on a year by any stretch. By any stretch.
It seems like a large amount of time when you're young, but it's really quick.
It went very quickly.
It goes by quick. Jackie, why don't you share? What country were you in?
I went to Paraguay.
And share some of your experiences about Paraguay with us.
I was in the southernmost city in Paraguay called Encarnacion, which is right across the river from Argentina. So it was my city, and there's a beach, a river, and I could actually see Argentina from my city, which was really neat because I kind of got to learn about two countries in the same exchange year. I had two host families, which I got along with really well. And like all Rotary Exchange students, or most of us, we go to school during the year. So I went to school with my host siblings, and I also got to travel quite a bit. I traveled to Argentina on a trip, and I also traveled to Brazil a few times as well.
So were you with each host family 6 months, something like that?
Yeah, I was actually only in Paraguay for about 10 months, so about 5 for each.
And why do they give you several?
That's just kind of a thing that's different with Rotary versus other travel programs. I think it's so that you get a really broader view of the country because, you know, maybe one family lives one way, different family lives a different way, so you can just see all the aspects to your country.
And what was your biggest challenge there?
I guess the biggest challenge for me was just getting out there. You know, right when you get there, you don't really speak the language, but you still want to make friends, you still want to have new experiences. So you have to be willing to make a fool out of yourself, really, by you know, trying something new, even though if you can't communicate with people. So.
And how was your country different from ours here in the United States?
There are definitely a lot of differences. I would say one of the biggest is the education system. There, most people go to private schools, generally speaking, and the schools are a lot smaller. So there's only about 60 kids in my grade versus about 350 or so from Owatonna.
And what language did you speak over there?
They speak Spanish, but it's a kind of a dialect of Spanish called Castellano. So it's a little bit different from Spanish, but it's pretty much the same thing.
Margaret, let's share your experience as well. So, and you went to Brazil, correct?
Yes.
And what were, tell us about how many host families you shared.
I actually had 4 host families. Each club, they give you more than one host family, but there's not really a set number of how many families to have. But because Brazilians are so hospitable and so warm, even though I had 4 technical host families, it wasn't uncommon to spend 3 nights at a friend's house because, you know, their parents would want to have someone over for dinner and that sort of thing.
And where were you located again? In what city?
I was located in a city called Curitiba. It is in the southern part of Brazil. It's a city of about 3 million people. People say that it's the San Francisco of Brazil. So if you can imagine, there's a lot of color. People are very relaxed and very into the environment. It's a very eco-friendly city.
And with the Olympics having just been, isn't Brazil, Rio
Right.
de Janeiro part of that? Was there a lot of hubbub there? Were you near any of that or preparation for that?
I was able to go to Rio while they were still preparing for the games in January, and there was a lot of construction and a lot of congestion. But my city is far enough away from the Olympics, from where the Olympics are taking place, that it doesn't affect their daily life too much. But they're very proud.
Tell us some of your experiences there. What did you do there while you were there?
Well, like Jackie, I went to school. The first half of the year, I went to school at a high school. And then the high school actually doubled as a community college during the night. And so I talked to my Rotary Club, and I decided to do community college during the nighttime at the same high school. I was also an English teacher at 3 different schools. And actually, one of the schools, the principal was from Northfield. And that was a complete coincidence. I didn't find that out until I was in the interview with her. So I did some volunteer work there.
Okay, how about we show some of the pictures here? What do we have?
All right.
Tell us what we're seeing here.
Okay, well this is...
Hold it a little at an angle like that, so the glare doesn't get it. There we go. Okay. And
this is a picture that my students gave to me as a thank you from the school with the principal from Northfield.
Okay. And what kind of language do they speak there?
They speak Portuguese.
So did you have to speak Portuguese as well?
Yes.
Okay. And were you fluent when you went?
No. No. Yeah, I tried to learn, obviously, but there's not a whole lot of people in Owatonna, Minnesota who speak Portuguese, so I really didn't know very much. I knew the basics.
Alrighty.
So I learned there.
So what was the food different? How is the food different in the countries, Jackie?
Meat. They eat so much meat. Yeah, so that was definitely different. Not that we don't eat meat here, but they eat a lot of meat, a lot of rice. Yeah, it's very separate. Their big meal that they have is called asado, and that would be for any occasion, really, any special occasion, even just a Sunday afternoon, which is just all the family gets together and you have a lot of meat, rice, bread.
Okay, same for you, or what was the food like in Brazil?
Yes, lots of meat, lots of rice, beans, veggie, meat. That was 90% of the meals, always, but it was very good.
Yeah.
And they also, one thing I appreciated was that they almost always eat as a family, and they'll always kind of make a display out of whatever meal they're having, and it's always made, everything's from scratch, and so there's a lot of labor of love to put into their meals, which is something I came to appreciate.
Would you say their meals are very festive, sort of like we do buffets here? And everybody's...
Yeah, it depends what it is. In my experience, the day-to-day meals were normal. They have Their biggest meal of the day is actually lunch, and then dinner is smaller, so it's like reverse as it is here. But if they have a big meal, yeah, the whole family gets together.
Yeah.
And I got a kind of unique experience with the food because my host mom owned a restaurant, so I got to learn to cook quite a few of the meals.
So tell us, what did you come away with, Margaret, from this experience? What did you learn most that you'll take with you?
That people, regardless of their background, generally want the same things. Sometimes they disagree on how to get there, but everyone basically wants the same things.
And what did you find, Jackie? What will you learn, take with you from it?
Yeah, similar to that, just how similar we are the entire world. The countries can be so different, but the people there are also very similar.
Did you feel you made strong friends in both areas? Do you feel you'll stay in touch over the years, Margaret?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
And Jackie?
Definitely. I'm still in constant contact with my host families, and I expect to be in contact with them forever.
And you've just been back how long now?
Just over a month.
Okay.
And about 2 months for me.
And what's your biggest adjustment coming back here?
For me, it was just kind of getting used to not having my families that I had just made with me all the time, not being able to spend time with my siblings and whatnot.
Okay. I'm always late. I'm always late. I was already always late, and now it's just, it's bad.
Quickly before we go, our viewers have gotten to know you a little bit. What are your future plans, Jackie?
I'm going to the University of Minnesota to study product design.
Okay, great. And
I'll be going to the University of Minnesota to study global studies with an emphasis in sustainable design.
Okay, great. So on a 1 to 10 scale, what would you give your experience overall?
11.
12.
11, 12. One thing I want to ask, to just crossed my mind, is the style, the clothing and things. Is it similar to the U.S. or no?
Lots of colors, everything big and over the top.
Okay.
Yeah, yep. So, and it's a little, like style 10 years ago was here is kind of the style.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't know that, but it just tends to change. You had a little flare up here, a little flare up there. How were the shoes there? Were your sandals or just?
Oh man, the shoes.
Yeah.
They wear huge heels. I remember one of my first weeks with my hostess, we were in a store, and I pointed to a pair of shoes that had a huge heel that I would have been like, no, and she says, "You don't wear those?"
Okay.
I was the only one who wore Birkenstocks.
Well, thanks. Way to go. Well, thanks for sharing your experiences, and we wish you continued success in the future.
Thank you.
Yeah. We will take a short break to hear a word from our sponsors, and then we'll be right back. So please stay with us.
Hi, I'm Rich from Sign Pro and Auto Trim Design, a proud sponsor of the Owatonna Today Show. Come and see us for all your sign and truck accessory needs.
Welcome back to the Owatonna Today Show, your community connection. And it's that time in the show when I share with you what's going on in our community. Wolfstock Music, Lake Chase Dog Park, August 26, 5 to 7 p.m., featuring Jake Jones. Sundays in the State Summer Movie Series at 215 North Cedar Avenue. It's the former State Theater space. We'll be showing on August 28th, Remember the Titans. Yoga on the Patio is in progress, and that is at the Steele County Historical Center. It starts on Tuesday. It's been going on Tuesdays through September 20th. It's at 10 a.m. And if you want to drop in and try it, it's $3. It's a 7-week series, Yoga on the Patio. Owatonna Early Edition Rotary Club Corn Feed, Tuesday, August 30th. Free delivery and takeout with 5 orders or more. Owatonna Eagles Club, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m., 141 East Rose Street. Tickets available at the door or by calling 507-213-6425. Well, we want to thank you for joining us today, and we hope you'll join us on Friday when we'll be visiting with the City of Owatonna. We'll get an update, and then the Steele County Senior Citizens of the Year will be with us. So until then, have a great day, and we'll see you on Friday.